Osama bin Laden was born in 1957 in Saudi Arabia. His family was very wealthy. They made their fortune in the construction business. He had a privileged upbringing. Bin Laden went to good schools and had access to many opportunities. However, bin Laden became increasingly religious as a young man. He was deeply affected by the suffering he saw in the Muslim world. He believed that the West was responsible for many of these problems. Bin Laden became convinced that it was his duty to fight against what he saw as Western oppression. This belief would shape his life and lead him down a dark path. Bin Laden's journey from a privileged child to a notorious terrorist is a complex one. It is important to understand the factors that contributed to his radicalization. In the late 1970s, the Soviet Union invaded Afghanistan. This event was a turning point in bin Laden's life. He saw it as a religious war against Muslims. Bin Laden felt a call to action. He traveled to Afghanistan to join the fight. There he used his wealth and connections to support the Mujahideen, the Afghan resistance fighters. Bin Laden helped to fund, train, and equip these fighters. He also fought alongside them against the Soviets. The experience of fighting in Afghanistan had a profound impact on bin Laden. It solidified his extremist views. He became convinced that violence was justified in defense of Islam. This belief would drive his actions in the years to come. After the Soviets withdrew from Afghanistan, bin Laden returned home a hero to some. However, he was not content to rest on his laurels. He believed that the fight for Islam was far from over. Bin Laden saw new enemies on the horizon. He formed Al-Qaeda, a terrorist organization, in 1988. The group's goal was to wage a global jihad against the West. Bin Laden saw the United States as the biggest threat to Islam. He blamed the US for supporting Israel and for stationing troops in Saudi Arabia, the birthplace of Islam. Al-Qaeda began to attract recruits from across the Muslim world. These were individuals who shared bin Laden's extremist ideology. They were willing to use violence to achieve their goals. Throughout the 1990s, Al-Qaeda carried out a series of attacks against US targets. These included the bombings of the US embassies in Kenya and Tanzania in 1998. These attacks killed hundreds of people. Bin Laden became a wanted man. The US government offered a reward for information leading to his capture. However, he remained elusive, hiding in the remote mountains of Afghanistan. Bin Laden continued to plan and inspire attacks. He believed that America was vulnerable. He was determined to strike a blow that would cripple the nation. Section 5. The Day That Changed the World. On September 11, 2001, Al-Qaeda carried out the deadliest terrorist attack in history. 19 militants hijacked 4 airplanes. They crashed 2 of the planes into the World Trade Center towers in New York City. Another plane hit the Pentagon in Washington, D.C. The 4th plane crashed in a field in Pennsylvania after passengers fought back against the hijackers. Nearly 3,000 people were killed in the attacks. The world watched in horror as the events unfolded. The 9/11 attacks had a profound impact on the world. They led to the US-led war on terror. Section 6. The Global Manhunt. After the 9/11 attacks, the United States launched a massive manhunt for Osama bin Laden. The CIA and other intelligence agencies worked tirelessly to track him down. The US also put pressure on countries like Pakistan to help in the search. Bin Laden went into hiding, moving between safe houses and avoiding detection. He used his network of loyal followers to stay one step ahead of the authorities. The hunt for bin Laden became a top priority for the US government. They were determined to bring him to justice for his role in the 9/11 attacks. Section 7. Operation Neptune Spear. For nearly a decade, bin Laden evaded capture. However, in 2011, US intelligence finally located him to a compound in Abbottabad, Pakistan. The compound was located not far from a Pakistani military academy. On May 2, 2011, a team of US Navy SEALs carried out a daring raid on the compound. The raid, codenamed Operation Neptune Spear, was authorized by President Barack Obama. The SEALs killed bin Laden during the raid. They also killed several other people at the compound, including one of bin Laden's sons. Section 8. The World After Bin Laden. Bin Laden's death was a major victory in the fight against terrorism. It marked the end of an era. However, it did not mean the end of Al-Qaeda or the threat of terrorism. Al-Qaeda and other extremist groups continue to pose a threat to global security. They have adapted to the loss of their leader and continue to recruit new members. The fight against terrorism is a complex and ongoing challenge. It requires international cooperation and a multifaceted approach. Section 9. A Legacy of Terror. Osama bin Laden's legacy is a dark one. He will be remembered as the mastermind behind the 9/11 attacks which killed thousands of innocent people. His ideology of hate and violence continues to inspire extremist groups around the world. However, it is important to remember that bin Laden does not represent Islam. The vast majority of Muslims are peaceful people who reject his extremist views. Bin Laden's story is a reminder of the dangers of extremism and the importance of tolerance and understanding. It is a reminder that we must all work together to create a more peaceful world.